I'm Raymond Maddox, and this is the assessment of the newborn. Newborn assessment begins with general appearance. The child is not crying, is peaceful. Color, in general, is good. Pink. Extremities are all symmetrical, and there are no anomalies present. First part of the assessment is vitals and measurements. We begin by taking an axillary temperature. The temperature of the newborn should be between 97.7 and 98.6 degrees. We're going to check the apical pulse using a pediatric stethoscope. The apical pulse should be between 130 and 160 BPM. And we're going to check respiration rate. Respirations of the newborn should be between 30 and 60 breaths per minute. Once this is accomplished, we're then going to begin our measurements. We begin by measuring the head of the child. Head measurement is generally between 33 and 35 centimeters. We go from the head to measuring the chest. Chest measurements are generally between 30.5 and 33 centimeters. The chest should not be larger than the head. From there, we check length and record an average of 17 to 19 centimeters. The child is also to be weighed on a scale. Weight of newborns range between 5 pounds 8 ounces and 8 pounds 13 ounces. Once measurements and vitals have taken, then we proceed to the actual assessment. We're going to initially check for skin. Checking skin, we're looking for color, a nice pink, making sure it's nice and dry. There are no anomalies anywhere. We're looking for turgor, checking for dehydration. From there, we proceed to the head. Checking the head of the child, we're going to be checking placement of the fontanelles anterior and posterior and suture line. We check the eyes for clarity, making sure there's no sign of hemorrhage. Placement of the ears. The top of the ears should be in line with the eyes. We then go to the nose, checking patency of each nares, and the mouth and throat, making sure that the palate is intact. From the head, we proceed to the thorax. The thorax, we're checking for symmetry, no placement of axillary nipples, and we're looking for placement of the clavicles, making sure they're intact. No damage has happened during birth. From the thorax, we're going to proceed to the lungs. With the lungs, we're going to be checking lung sounds bilaterally, making sure there's no grunting or retractions during breathing. We're again going to check pulses apically, 130 to 160 BPM. We check brachial pulses, verifying, and femoral pulses, verifying. We're also going to check the abdomen at this time. The abdomen should be soft, round, symmetrical. We're checking placement of the umbilicus, and we're listening for bowel sounds to ensure that everything's intact and working. From the abdomen, we then proceed to the genitals. With the genitals of the newborn, on a female, we're checking for maturity of the labia and making sure there's no discharge. And for a male child, we're looking for placement of the testes, testicles, and urinary meatus. From there, we're going to check the anus, making sure it's intact with no fissures or sutures. We're going to turn the child, checking the spine and lumbar, making sure there are no anomalies and proper curvature. After that, we're going to check the extremities themselves for range of motion, complete range of motion, and ensuring that all fingers and toes are present. From here, we go to the neurological checks. There are several neurological checks that can be done. Several of them, we're going to check for rooting by rubbing one cheek of the child. The child should turn the head toward the cheek. We're going to check the sucking reflex by placing small finger In the mouth, make sure that the child does start sucking. We're going to check for plantar, palmar, and plantar reflexes by using slight pressure on the palms and feet. The fingers and toes should curl toward the pressure. And finally, we can do the Babinski test by stroking from the heel forward on the feet. The toes should spread. This concludes the assessment of the newborn.